Hey guys, it's me, Mimic Jack 24 here. Today I just wanted to kind of record, talk about two things, not record two things. I'm talking about those. First of all, I saw the movie Oppenheimer with, uh, with, hmm, I saw it with a family member. As for the time being, I'm still disclosing the family member's name because, I don't really want to talk that much about my family, just because not my thing. Anyways, pretty much I want to say Oppenheimer itself was a pretty good film overall. Like no joke, it was a 3 hour movie, but it felt like an hour and a half. Like it like it went by quickly. And although I can safely say that a good majority of the film is accurate for history, however, specific details are going to be harder to say accurate wise, since you gotta be like if you thoroughly studied it in depth enough to kind of know it completely. However, I do know one thing is that the only real historical inaccuracy I kind of saw was that during the film, there was like, I believe it was either a 50 star flag that was supposed to be where like a 48 star flag was. For those that don't know, the American flag has 50 stars to represent 15 states and 13 stripes to represent the 13 colonies. Every each state is 1 star. So, with the addition of Alaska and Hawaii joining after 1945, after 1945, it took until like the early 50s to gain both Alaska and Hawaii as official U.S. states. However, other besides that small inaccuracy, I once again it would just have to go down to the very minor details of either inaccurate to the actual historic events or not. But overall, it does an amazing job with showing how Oppenheimer kind of regrets making his achievement, like his magnum opus of the atomic weapon, as pretty much. And another huge thing that kind of surprised me was that the film was rated R. Like, not really once throughout really the trailers or that much did I ever get the sense it was rated R. Like, honestly, it does involve occasional cursing and stuff, but really, I guess the only thing that really comes at times is just some more adult moments. But even then, those like come and go very quickly, and I think the only time really where I can see it needing a rated R title is if then if you count saying seeing chest and stuff, because that's really all they show in the film. But other besides that, I do have to say that overall it's like a pretty good film, and it's got a pretty good story to tell of the life of Oppenheimer. Well, a good majority of the film does focus on the work at Los Alamos with the Trinity test. And then after the Trinity test, you see Oppenheimer's guilt and kind of and I would just say mainly more or less his guilt coming over through him once he's been hearing that his bombs were used on some both military and civilian targets, which both Little Boy and Fat Man destroyed. Little Boy destroyed Hiroshima, and Nagasaki was destroyed by Fat Man. Pretty much those nukes on its own was able to just destroy like countless a thousand lives, both military and not. Japan did suffer from it. Like from the modern day, it still is kind of recovering from the scars of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. As like, I mean, it's been recovering extremely well, but it's like those two instances have been etched into the minds of the Japanese people as some of the greatest tragedies that happened to them, which I don't blame them. Don't blame them, and Oppenheimer definitely feels guilt as well. There's a scene throughout the movie where he kind of hears about Hiroshima, and then when he gives like a victory speech, because it's kind of proven that the bombs work, and that pretty soon that the Japanese were going to surrender because of it, meaning that people would be spared and honestly would survive since, well, I mean, the US was planning to do a massive invasion of the Japanese homeland, which would have cost millions of both American and Japanese lives. So, we took the best out of the worst options. And I'm not trying to defend the US or much, I'm just saying it's the best we, by we I mean the US, would have been able to have done in order to prevent all out brutal fighting that would have taken place all across the Japanese islands, and to be honest, that would have been a much more horrific and bloodier event than any other stuff seen on the on the on the European front. Well, I mean, most likely the most closest thing to that on the European front, if America did go out with invading the Japanese islands, would most likely be the Battle of Stalingrad. However, I'm getting sidetracked. However, I do want to mention that this does show truly more or less the science and theories behind behind a lot of Oppenheimer's not inventions but discoveries that he kind of made, along with doing the accurate science of bombs when they explode. You would see it first, and then a few seconds would go by before the shockwave of sound hits you. And the big build up throughout the film is the Trinity test, which, once again, it was the moments that kind of defined Oppenheimer's career and caused him to say the most famous phrase of I forget what the Hindu text was, but it's a famous text from a Hindu book. I'm forgetting what it's exactly called, but I know the quote itself. So famous that they even gave the quote to Oppenheimer as his own even prior to the film, which was "Now I have become deaf, the destroyer of worlds," which and a huge portion throughout with making the nukes and stuff, there is this kind of setting that you kind of get that Oppenheimer is not exactly the best person, but the best person to do this job. To do this job by not exactly being the best person, I mean in terms of being married and also being like both like a non-communist and a communist. He's not a communist, but oh boy, the McCarthy trials. Oh, and also one other person that kind of had a vendetta against him, just brutally held that against him, and that did lots of damage. I'm not going to lie about that. However, the second thing I wanted to talk, but before I forget, once again, I do recommend you see it. However, just be aware that this is rated R. But I highly recommend you go see it if you're able to watch it, or if you get a parent to go with you into the theaters as well. Well, if you're not over the age of 17 to see rated R. Anyways, pretty much the second thing I want to talk about is that recently, you guys probably have been noticing that lately my battery's been being drained again. I have one of two theories that's been going on. Either one, that since I keep the microphone plugged in, I wonder if that's slowly stealing power away. Or two, if the battery's dying on me again, since it died on me earlier today with the old computer, which is the one y'all are seeing now, because I personally hate the new computer just because I'm tired of deleting like new files and stuff each time I save a quick time recording. So for now, I'm saving the old computer just for that. And don't worry, I do have the stuff to repair the old computer. However, for the time being, I just want to do a few tests just to make certain that it's either a battery issue or directly an issue of the microphone taking power. And since I've left the microphone in throughout all the times you guys probably seen it go down, what I'm going to do later is keep it at a certain charge, take out the microphone, and then just wait to see if it's the same charge like tomorrow morning. Anyways, other besides that, I do want to say once again, I do recommend to see Oppenheimer. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. However, once again, it's rated R, and I strongly recommend you watch it with an adult. I mean, I went to see it with a family member. However, both of us kind of weren't really aware it was. I guess the family member was more aware since he bought tickets. But, but to be honest, we both knew what we were going into to see the life of Oppenheimer, which, oh boy, that's one complicated matter. Like, I gotta oh boy, he's got lots of skeletons in his closet, and oh boy, some of them get shown, and it's not really too good. It's not good. Yeah. Anyways, I do recommend do watch it because it's honestly probably like one of the best films I've seen as of current of this decade of 2020 through 2030. For that decade, currently, this is one of the best movies I've seen come out for that within that amount of time. Now, I have to say, it's impressive and also very good. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.